Satsangatve nisangatvam nisangatve nirmohatvam nirmohatve nichalatatvam nichalatatve jivanmuktihi punarapi jananam punarapi marana punarapi janani jatare shayanam इह संसारे बहुदुस्तारे कृपया पारे पाहि मुरारे।
हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम स्तुति स्मृति पुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शंकरं लोकशंकरं शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः नारायणं पद्मभूं वसिष्ठं शक्तिं च तत्पुत्र पराशरं च व्यासं सुखं गौरवं महान्तं गोविन्द योगीन्द्रमदास्य शिष्यं श्री शंकराचार्यं दास्य पद्मवादं च हस्तामलकं च शिष्यं तं तोडकं वार्तिककालमन्यान् अस्मद्गुरून् सन्ततमानतोऽस्मि सदाशिवसमारम्भां भगवत्पादमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। Adi Shankara Bhagavad-Padacharya, who is the reincarnation of Lord Shiva himself, has written Vedantic text establishing the Advaita Tattvam. His magnum opus is Shankara Bhashyam. To get into that Shankara Bhashyam, one has to be trained to go into a big subject like Shankara Bhashya on Upanishads, Gita and Brahma Sutras. For that, he himself, by his compassion, has written so many Prakarana Granthas, 8 Granthas, which will enable him to go into the Shankara Bhashyam or the Upanishad studies. He has written several texts in this manner, which are all called Prakarana Granthas. He has written Viveka Chodamani, ATMA-BODHA, Aparoksha-Anubhuti, Tattva-Bodha, etc. In that, our topic is going to be on the Tattva-Bodha written by Adi Shankara Bhagavad-Padacharya. The text name is Tattva-Bodha. Tattva means tat means that. Tva means ness. Thatness. Tva means ness means what? The saram, the purport of that. Tat was the purport of the that. What is that? God. The purport of God is called the Tattva. Bodha, Bodha to know, knowledge. It is a knowledge about that God. That is the meaning. Tattva-Bodha is the name of the text written by Adi Shankaracharya, wherein he has written an invocative prayer, invocation prayer. Vasudevendra Yogindram Natva Jnana Pradam Gurum Mukshunam Hitartaya Tattva Bodho Vidhiyate. He has paid salutations to his Guru Vasudevendra Yogindra. After worshipping him, Natva, after falling at his feet, Natva, he is a Jnana Pradam Guru. He who bestows the knowledge. Any Guru bestows the knowledge to the Shishya. So Shishya is praying for the Anugraha of the his master, the Guru. And he is also telling why he is writing this book called Tattva-Bodha. He says, it is Mumukshunam Hitartaya, for those who seek liberation, for the benefit of them. For them it will be very appealing. Hitartaya, Mumukshunam Hitartaya, Tattva-Bodha. Tattva-bodha is the name of the book. Tattva-bodha abhidiyate. In this name, I release this book. This is the invocation. The first question is invocation necessary? Yes, it is necessary because it is called Mangalacharanam. Mangalam means auspiciousness. Acharanam means practice. The practice followed in this Sanatana tradition is to invoke God before doing a big thing, before embarking on a big project. For that, invocational prayer is done by the elders, by our sages. So, Adi Shankara also follows the same tradition and writes an invocation prayer to get into the subject of Tattva-bodha. Tattva-bodha. Before getting into the subject, he says one has to acquire qualifications to get into the study of Vedanta, because Tattva-bodha is the purport of Vedanta. Purport of Vedanta can be acquired, can be accomplished only if you have the required qualifications. For that, he has given 4 qualifications which are necessary and without which it will be very difficult to go into the principles of Vedanta. So he has said that Nitya Vastu Vivekaha. One has to have the discriminative faculty to understand what in this world is eternal and what is non-eternal, ephemeral. This knowledge is very important, so one has to acquire this qualification to get into the Vedanta, he said. Secondly, he said, Iha amutrartha phalabhoga viragaha. One should have dispassion. Dispassion means vairagyam. He should not have anything, he should not have any attachment with any of the worldly things here in this Bhuloka or Surgaloka, Amutra also. That means what? One has to be unattached. He has to have perfect dispassion for all things in this world or in any other world. So this kind of a dispassion, vairagyam, is a necessary. First, vivekam is necessary, he said. Discrimination is necessary. Then dispassion is necessary. It is the second qualification. The third necessity is shamadamadi shatka sampatti. Shamam, damam, uparati, titiksha, shraddha, samadhanam. These 6 qualifications are a must. What are they? If you say shama means mind control, dama means sense control, uparati means one has to follow his own duty, ordained duty. Swadharma anushtanam, they call it. That is uparati. Then titiksha. Titiksha means he should have the forbearance. He should have the patience. He should have to treat the good and the bad, the heat and the cold alike. That means he has to have that forbearance. Yeah, he has to tolerate that. This tolerance is a must for a Vedantic student. That is called Titiksha. Then Shraddha. He has to have faith in the words of Guru and in Vedas, or in the Vedanta. That is an important, essential qualification he should accomplish. Then the 6th one is Samadhanam. Samadhanam means one-pointed approach. He has to thoroughly put his mind to know, to dwell into the teachings of the Vedanta. So Samadhanam is a must. So these 6 qualifications are put into one category as that Samadhi Shatka Sampatti. Shatkam means 8, Sampatti means accomplishments. Samadhi, Shakta, Shama, etc. Shat Sampatti. 6 accomplishments one should acquire. This is apart from Vivekam and Vairagyam. And the 4th one is Mumukshutvam. One has to have a deep longing for liberation. Yeah, because Mumukshutvam. Moksho mein Puyat iti icha. One should yearn for liberation. That is a must. If these four qualifications are there, then he becomes eligible to go into the study of Vedanta. This is what is said. Having said that, in the text, Adi Shankara points out that after acquiring all these qualifications, Tattva Vivekaha has to be done. Analysis of this Tattvam, the purport of Vedas, can be inquired into only after acquiring these qualifications. Then, what is the Tattva Vicharaha? What is called the analysis of the Tattvam? The Jiva Brahma Aikyam is the Tattvam. Tat means that. Tvam means another meaning is you. You and the Brahman are one and the same. Abhedaha. One and the same only, identical only. So this is the Tattvam. To know this Tattvam, you have to analyze Vedanta. Vedantic analysis is nothing but Tattva analysis. Knowing this truth that Atma is the Satyam or Brahman is the Satyam, and Brahman and Atma both are same only. Abhedam, both are same only. This has to be done after acquiring these qualifications. Then the question has come, how can you say self and Brahman are same? Brahman we know, it is God. Everywhere he is omnipotent, he is omniscient, he is all pervasive, all these things I know about God. How can you say that self is Brahman? How can that self be Brahman? Brahman means God. God means all-knowing personality. Allah is capable of doing all things in this world. But self is not like that. He is not an all-knowing person. He can do only to his capacity only. His deeds are limited by his intelligence and by his physique only. Having said so, how he can be equated with God? This is the question. For that, the answer is, when I say you have not understood the you properly, self properly. What you have understood yourself as self is incorrect. Then what is self? Your real nature of self you should know. So, you should know about that self. So, the student asked the teacher, Atma kaha? What is this self? This is the question. For that, the Guru gives an answer. Pula Sukshma Karana Sarirat Vediriktaha Pancha Kosha Aditaha Avastatraya Sakshi Sachidananda Swarupaha Atma. Now we have to understand each of these words correctly. For that, a little briefing is necessary to go into before going into the answer. See, when you want to define an object or a subject, in this case it is a subject, what is a self? That means what? What is the question? Please define me what is self. What is a definition? A definition, if I define an object, that should be different from all other objects in this world. See, normally, you give a name to there are four Ramasamis in my class. So, what we give one tall Ramasamy, short Ramasamy, bulk Ramasamy, lean Ramasamy, because we need identity to differentiate him from all others. That is called the definition. So, how can this definition be made in Sanskrit parlance? You should understand. There are two types of definitions accepted in the Sanskrit parlance. What are those? If you analyze, it is called Tatastha Lakshanam. One is Tatastha Lakshanam. One is Swarupa Lakshanam. If it can be explained only with an example, only then we will understand. Suppose I ask you to come to my home. I got two choices. I can tell you, sir, come to this particular state, Ramasamy state, no, you will see a big tree. You will see a big neem tree, Vapamaram, after some time. The house which is adjacent just to the tree is my house, I can tell. And you can come to my house because I have defined you my house properly. This is one way. And here in this example, tree has got nothing to do with my house. Still, I have used tree to make you understand my house. So, by showing you the tree, my intention is to show you my house. So, this is one way of, this is called Tatastha Lakshanam. Where is your house if you say, it is on the banks of Kaveri. The Tatastham. Tatastham means it is on the, I say my house is in Kaveri itself. If I say my house is in Kaveri itself, you will understand how can that be house in a Kaveri? It is a flowing river. That means you will understand it is on the banks. Yeah, like that. We understand the house by knowing the tree. This kind of explanation, definition is a correct definition. You can define anything in this way. This is called Tatastha Lakshanam. There is another Lakshanam also, which is called the Swarupa Lakshanam. That Lakshanam is, you want to come to my house, you just come to Ramasamy Street. Third house, you will see one red colored painted house, fully red. There is no other red painted house in that street. So it is very easy for you to come to my house. So like that, I can tell you can come to the red painted house. If I say, that is also a definition. Here it is called Swarupa Lakshana. I have explained about my house itself properly so that you can come. There is another way of definition which is called Atattva Vrittihi. By process of elimination. That also I can. As you come, you will see a big temple there. Along with that, there is a street. Don't enter into that street. Go straight. And there is a hospital there. Along with the hospital, next to the hospital, there is a road. That also you avoid. Then you proceed and come to my road. That is our street. This way also I can tell. Yeah. That means by negating also, I can make you understand where my house is there. So, this is the definition of a house, the example we have taken. Like that. These three things, Swarupa Lakshanam, we should understand. Tatastha Lakshanam, we should understand. Atattva Nivritti, Atattva Vyavritti Lakshanam, also, you know. Vyavritti Lakshanam is the crow which resides on the balcony of a house. Is called, is my house. This is, the crow may sit on the balcony sometimes it may not sit also, but yet I make use of that to define an article. This way also I can make you understand the object. So the object can be defined in three methods. This method is followed in ATMA-BODHA. How Adi Shankara is explaining the self here is Tula Sukshma Karana Sarirat Vediriktaha. Tula Shariram means gross body. Gross body means that body which you can see by your eyes. It is very gross. It is very evident. It is obvious. You can see. It is called gross body. What is a subtle body? Gross body is, you can Then another thing is that subtle body, Sukshma Shariram. Subtle means what? You cannot see, you can only infer. Yeah, no, I have a mind. You know I have a mind, but you cannot see my mind. But I say, I have a big nose. You can see the nose. My nose is very gross. My mind is very subtle, you cannot see. You cannot say. This is called Sukshma Shariram. And the third one is causal body, Karana Shariram. What is Karana Shariram? These two bodies where it lies is called Karana Shariram, subtle body. Let us explain it properly, then only we will understand how the self cannot be all the three. Stula, Sukshma, Karana, Sarirat, Vyadiriktaha. Other than these three is called the self. This is the definition Adi Shankara gives. Other than these three. Now, I have a gross body. This is Stula Shariram. Amit Stula Shariram. If you ask me what is my weight, I say I am 75 kgs. I say. Yeah, that means what? I identify myself with this gross body and talk to you as though I am the gross body, which is a false notion. The Shastra says, the ATMA-BODHA says, Adi Shankara says, you are not this boy, this fellow who is residing in this body, gross body. It is not correct, he says. Next he says, maybe he is meaning that I am a liar. Yeah, I have a mind. I know I can give a big lecture also. So he is referring to that because my nature is so subtle that I am a subtle body, thinking that he says I am not. That also he negates. No, you are not the subtle body, he says. That means what? I am not a dreamer. I live in the subtle world when I dream. When I go around in this world as a baker, I am a craftsman going around transacting business in this world. So at that time, I identify myself to the grass body, which he negates, you are not the grass body. Now, when I think, when I dream, I identify myself with the Sukshma Sharira, mind and my intellect. That also he negates, the saying that you are not that. Then I have a doubt. Then am I a causal body? What is a causal body? When you go to sleep at 11 o'clock in the night, your gross body, your eyes, your nose, your mouth, everything gets tired. It wants to sleep, it wants to take rest. So I make big preparations. I arrange all my bed and other things. I go to sleep, and after a few minutes, slowly I get into the mind mode only. The mind slowly thinks of something, the dreaming for 1 or 2 minutes. Then again the mind also becomes tired and we go to sleep. At the time of sleep, I do not know anything. I sleep like a jata, inert object. Anybody accusing me also, I cannot hear. Where my senses in the grass body went, where my mind and intellect went, I do not know. I slept. Means what? It has gone somewhere. We do not know where it has gone. It has gone somewhere. And that somewhere is called the causal body. Because my grass body, what happened? It went to the Sukshma Sharira, and the Sukshma Sharira also suddenly went to oblivion. That means what? It cannot go to oblivion. It has to go somewhere. So what we say is, it got dissolved in my causal body. So morning 5 o'clock again it has come out. My Sukshma Sharira also came out. My Stula Sharira has also come out of this sleep. So I have to term this sleep mode as causal body. Shankara says, you are not the grass body, you are not the subtle body, you are not even the causal body, you are other than that. That how I can understand this is that there are 3 states available for me, which are called Jagrat Avastha, which is called waking state. I have got Sukshma Avastha, which is called dreaming state, and I have got Causal Avastha, which is called the sleeping state. So like that, I have 3 states. In the 3 states, the self, which I say that I was a waker, I say that I dreamt yesterday, I say that I slept yesterday. So when I say this, I should have seen me as a waker, I should have understood me as a dreamer, I should have understood me as a sleeper, That means what? I cannot be the waker, I cannot be the dreamer, I cannot be the sleeper. But since I know all these things, I should have been a witness for all these things. I know that I was a waker. I know that I was a sleeper. I know that I was a dreamer. So I am different from these three avasthas. That is what it says. Stula Sukshma Karana Sarira Vyadiritaha Panchakosha Aditaha Avastatraya Sakshi. Avastatrayam. There are three avasthas called waking avastha, dream avastha, sleep avastha. I am the sakshi for all these things only. I am not involved in this activity at all. The self is not a waker, the self is not a dreamer, the self is not the sleeper. Then the self is what? It is the witness consciousness. That is that self. This is what is told. Then in between, it said, Panchakosha Aditaha. Koshaha means sheath. Sheath means covering. A sword can be kept only in a sheath. Yeah. Porai, in Tamil we say. A sword can be put inside a sheath. Like that, there are 5 sheaths covering this Atma which is inside. Sarvantaryami. In all these 5, there is myself. That self is covered by 5 koshas. 5 koshas, 5 coverages, 5 sheets, we call it. One is called Annamaya Kosha. The grass body is made of Annamayam because I was born because of the food eaten by my parents. Now I sustain myself because of food only. Then when I die, I will become a food to the Agni, or the water, or the Bhumi, or the earth. So, Annamaya Kosha, this grass body cannot be myself because it is born out of food. It is sustained out of food. It has to be a food to something else. So, it is Annamaya Kosha. I cannot be this. But what I say is, I am 75 kgs, I am saying. It is a false notion. How can I say my body is 75 kgs, I should say? Because why I say this, when I go to a doctor, he says, you got a heavy diabetic is there. Unless your foot is amputated, it will be, you will not survive at all. It is so dangerous if he says. I say, I agree that please cut my thumb. How can I say cut my thumb? Because I know it is mine. But when I do the transactional things, I say that I am. When I say I am, I mean the glass body. In fact, I am not. This body is mine only is the correct reply. Because when the doctor says you should amputate your thumb means I agree. How can I agree when it is myself? Body is not myself. It is mine only. So only I accepted for that. So I am not Annamaya Kosha. So the statement that I am 50 kgs, I am 75 kgs is wrong. It is a wrong usage by me. One thing. Then inside that there is another sheet which is subtler than this. This is called the Pranamaya Kosha. Pranamaya Kosha. It is called sense organs. Pranan means here sense organs. Sense organs are there. Pranas, 5 pranans are there. What are they? Is a prana, apana, yana, udana, samana. These are called pancha pranas. The prana, what it does is, I inhale air from outside. This activity is done by prana. I exhale air, carbon dioxide, I exhale. This activity is called apana. And when I take food, that food is taken to all the parts of my body. When a doctor prescribes and puts an injection for my headache here, my headache is cured. How can it cure? How can they put an injection here? They should put injection in the head only for the headache to go. It doesn't happen. That means what? there is another prana shakti in us, which is called jnana shakti, which has got the capacity to yaptam. It has the capacity to pervade. So through this pervasion, it is functioning in my body like that. Another thing is called prana, apana, jnana, udana. When I want to get up, I am able to get up. Where from I got this Shakti? I got a Prana Shakti here, which is called Udana Shakti, which gives me strength to rise. Suppose you call me when I get a calling bell, immediately I rise and go. Where from I got this Shakti, this power to rise myself? Because there is a Shakti which is called Udana Shakti in my body, which is responsible for that. Then another Shakti is the Samana Shakti. Whatever I eat, it does it beautifully. All the important saram is taken for the nourishment, and all impure things are sent out of my body. This Shakti is called Samana Shakti. Prana, Apana, Jnana, Udana, Samanan. These are the Sanis. When this Shakti gets exhausted, you get thirst. When the Shakti gets exhausted, you become hungry. But what I am saying is, I am hungry. I am thirsty. How can I, the self, you be equated along with this Prana Shakti? It cannot. Pranamaya Kosham, I cannot be Pranamaya Kosham. I cannot be Annamaya Kosham. Then we will analyze whether I can be still inner than that. One there is one Kosha sheet called mind, Manomaya Kosha. Whether I can be called a mind, if you analyze also, I cannot. I am happy, I am unhappy, all these usages I make. How can I join with my mind? Because you are happy only temporarily. You are unhappy only temporarily. Any grief in your house, it lasts only for 4 or 5 days. Then you get into the work, then you enjoy, you go to the cinema, you go everything. This is what is happening. When you are happy also, it doesn't last much. After some time, you get pain, you suffer from pain. So all this, so mind is it is so unnatural. I cannot be, the self cannot be in such an unnatural state. So the usage of word that I am happy, I am unhappy is all not correct. It is all false usage of words. So I cannot be equated, I cannot identify myself with Manomaya Kosha. That is the reason. Then there is another inner sheet called Vijnanamaya Kosha. Vijnanamaya Kosha is, I am a male, I am a lawyer, I am a chartered accountant, I am an engineer. All these things I say. Now, you see, these are all the educational qualification which your intellect acquired at some point of time. It has got nothing to do with yourself. The self, your blood, your breathing activity, all are same as others only. How can you call this as yourself? So to call yourself as a male or female is all funny things. You cannot do that. It is again a false notion only. So you cannot call that I am a male, I am a female. This kind of usages are improper usages. You can use it for worldly thing. But to come to Vedanta, you should understand that this knowledge is not going to help you to understand yourself at all. So better you move further inner than that. So if you go further inner, Anandamaya Kosha, sleep state is there. That you know, you do not know also you know. I say I don't know French. I say I don't know Spanish. How can I say I don't know Spanish? I know something, I can say I know. If I don't know anything, how can I say? It's again a wrong usage you make, because you identify at that time with the Vijnanamaya Kosha, which is not correct. So, where is this self? Inner than that. You are not Annamaya Kosha, you are not Pranamaya Kosha, you are not Manomaya Kosha, you are not Vijnanamaya Kosha, you are not even Anandamaya Kosha, and you are beyond this five. This is what he said. So, you are beyond this Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, Anandamaya Kosha. These are the 5 sheets covering yourself. Once these sheets are removed, yourself can be known. Your self should be understood this way. It is beyond all these 5. This is what is defined. So, Stula Sukshma Karana Sarira Vyadiriktaha Panchakosha Aditaha Avastatraya Sakshi. What is this, sir? You are saying you are not that, you are not Atatva Vyavriti technique only you are using. Otherwise, you are using Tatastha Lakshanam only. The God is the creator of this world. God is the sustainer. He is the destroyer of this world. He is the generator. He is the organizer. He is the destroyer. That way only you are explaining. You are not taking with reference to the world only you are able to explain. With reference to the body only you are explaining the self. If you ask that question, I have to tell you, there is another way of explaining which is called Swarupa Lakshanam. What is that Swarupam? Sat, Chit, Ananda, Swarupaha, Atma. Yourself is Sat Swarupa. Yourself is Chit Swarupa. Yourself is Ananda Swarupa. What is Sat? Sat means that which cannot be negated at any point of time is called Sat. Sat means what? Truth. Truth means what? It has to be truth always. No, there is no past truth, there is no present truth, there is no future truth. Truth has to be truth always. There cannot be past, there cannot be future, there cannot be present. So truth is always a truth. So you analyze whether the self is truth or not. The Shastra says the self, yourself is truth. You are truth embodied. You are truth yourself. Sat. Because even if this body goes, you are going to be there. So you are Sat. There is no end for this Sat. So it cannot be falsified at any point of time by anybody. That is why I call you are Sat. You are that big I, self. You are not the self which you identify with this body, with this mind or with this intellect. You are above this body, mind, intellect complex. You are that Sat. But who says? Upanishad says, Shastra says, Adi Shankara says. This you have to believe and we have to realize this in our activities. Now onwards, having known who am I should know, is it really true? So I should dwell upon myself to understand this fact. So the Shastra says, you are that Sat. Then the Shastra says, you are Chit. You are knowledge. You are not a Jadam. You are not an inert object. You are bubbling with activities. You know everything. You have got a natural inclination to know about everything because your nature is knowledge. Even if a person gets into a motion in a bus, you wait and see whether that person has got into the train or not. Why? Your mind is like that. You have natural that tendency, the inquisitive tendency is there. How that inquisitive tendency has come? Because you are not a Jada. You have got Chaitanya, Chit is there, that knowledge, that bubbling knowledge is there. You are always knowledge prone only. So you are the embodiment of knowledge. You are Sat, you are Chit, and you are Ananda. Sir, how can I be Ananda, sir? I always suffer, sir. No. When the task is completed, you are happy that you have achieved. That means what? At that time, when your task is completed, you identify yourself with yourself, your real self. There the happiness comes. So that is why you want to be happy always. You don't want to die at the age of 40. You don't want to die at the age of 50. You don't want to die even at the age of 90. Yeah. Why? Because you want permanent happiness. Why you want permanent happiness? Because your nature is happiness. This is what the Shastra says. You are Sat, you are Chit, you are Ananda. So the self is nothing but Sachidananda Swarupaha. You are that Sat, you are that knowledge, Chit, you are that Ananda, happiness. Yeah, so this is the self. This self only you should realize. How to realize that? The book continues. The book says, how this world cannot be Sat, how this world cannot be Chit, how this world cannot be Ananda, only you can be that. So all these things which you know, which are all there, the body, your world, all these are made up of 5 elements only. So what is there in the world, in the elements, that is there in the pinda. What is there in the anda is there in your pinda only. This is how you should come with the reductio ad absurdum. By this process of elimination, by process of analysis, if you analyze the world, if you analyze your body, if you analyze your life, you will come to the conclusion that what the Shastra says is the truth. I can be none other than the Sat Chit Atma Swarupam. This is the conclusion one should arrive after reading this book. To understand that fact, you should know what is the self. Then having known that one day, you can contemplate on that and you can realize on that. That is the teaching for which Tattva-Bodha has been written by Adi Shankara. So the question, who is the self, is answered in a very neat way in the Tattva-Bodha text. It is very text, but it has been tackled beautifully in the text. That is why I wanted to elaborate on this point only. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.